Hey guys, it's Eric from Edrumcenter here. We're going to talk about the new DTX6K5-M from Yamaha. Really just a new configuration. I mean, it is a new kit, but it's not like a new module or anything like that. We'll tell everybody what the new things are, what's different about it, that kind of stuff. So it's got the DTX-PRO module, but it's heavily updated from its original launch date.
Right.
With version 2.1. 2.1.
Actually, we had to update it ourselves because it was only on 2.0 when we got it.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. And the main difference between 2.0 and 2.1 was adding, from what I read, it was adding this kit to the list and then adding it to work with the DTX Touch app or something like that.
What all comes with this kit is a 5-piece kit configuration with 2 crashes and a ride, hi-hat, a 12-inch snare, 3 10-inch toms, the same rack that is used for the DTX6K3, which has their TCS pads. It comes with the PCY 135 for crash cymbals, PCY 155 for a ride, and the RHH 135 hi-hat. And these are the same cymbals they've had forever. The thing that really makes this different from the DTX6K3, which has been out for a while, is the mesh pads, which are not only just mesh, but they're larger.
Yeah.
And also the toms are dual trigger on this kit, whereas on the 6K3, they're small 7-inch toms, and they're only a single trigger head. For the same price, I think the 6K3 came down a little bit, so it's now the same price as this kit, but you do get more advanced triggering on the toms and bigger drums. So it's a good deal. It comes with a hi-hat stand. A lot of kits do not come with a hi-hat stand. This comes with a nice Yamaha one. It's not like the best hi-hat stand they make, but it's decent and it works for that hi-hat, and it saves you probably $80-$100.
Yeah, easily.
To get an equivalent. We're not going to talk about the exact price of this kit because that may change with all the stuff in the world, but right now it's very competitively priced. Yamaha got sharp with its pencil on this one, we think, and it seems, compared to other kits in this lower to mid price range, it holds its own, I think. It's definitely a step up from a lot of the cheaper kits, which come with either a fixed hi-hat or a hi-hat that just maybe doesn't have very many positions between full open and full closed, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I wasn't playing it and oh yeah, this sucks. It was it's pretty good. We'll talk about their cymbals in a minute, but the hi-hat itself was doing everything I was asking it to do.
Yeah, it's definitely really good with the open close action and all that. So
other things we liked about the kit is just the ease of setup. It's one of those kits that we really didn't even open the manual, I think, at all, which is what we usually do. We usually just try and set it up without opening the manual. And we were able to get basically through that whole process. I think we maybe looked at a picture.
Yeah.
And be like, how's this go? And then, but other than that, we set it up, plugged it in, and everything was working just fine. Yeah. Other than having to update the module.
Right. Well, it's really good too. From a shipping standpoint, it's not favorable, but the rack already comes mostly pre-assembled. No other brand really does that. So as someone like me who's not the biggest fan of racks, I appreciate the setup process of just having to open the box, and the cymbal boom arms and the tom arms were the only things you have to add. Everything else for the rack is already just pre-assembled, and I like that.
I think it's one of the faster unboxing setups that we've ever done.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, it was right at 15 minutes, and that was including from when we hit play and then started walking around to the boxes. So it took us less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll probably have to throw some extra B-roll footage in there for this voiceover. Yeah, it's a really easy to set up kit, easy to use. Just once you get it set up, it's real knob-based analog feeling. There's no color touchscreens here. Big old kit change knob. It's got a whole metronome area, where you set your tempo and that kind of stuff. The module does not have Bluetooth.
Right.
I think it came out right before. That was really kind of standard on some stuff. and it also has, while it does have analog MIDI out or 5-pin MIDI out and USB for triggering like software or doing MIDI, it doesn't have any multi-track over USB like some of the more expensive stuff that's out there. That would be cool, but it only has a left and a right out, analog out for recording at this time. So,
which a lot of the other brands in the same price range are limited to that as well. So.
Yeah, you're down in this price range. Some features just aren't there, like some of the higher end stuff. So, I did really like the cross stick on this kit. I think it's one of the best cross stick experiences in this lower to mid price range. You do have to hit a button, like on the 17 and the 27 from Roland. You have to hit a button before cross stick really functions properly. Same thing here, but at least it has it. Like some other stuff in this price range, just the cross stick's just very hit and miss.
Yeah.
What else do we like about this thing?
Well,
it's quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet.
It's one of the quieter kits. You know what I meant to do, and maybe we'll in post throw this up where we measured it at. I want to measure it with our dB meter because we have one.
Yeah, because the kick drum's a more like, I don't even know what that really is, some weird rubber.
It's a rubbery kind of material that almost feels hollow.
Yeah.
But it works. When you're playing it,
yeah, I like that kick drum.
It seems to trigger just fine.
But it's way quieter in some ways because of that.
It's much quieter than like maybe a Roland KD10, which kind of has a slappy sound to it. Which that kick drum feels pretty good, but it is a bit louder. What else do we sell in that price range? That's like the ATV, which is an all mesh.
Yeah. And
I think it might be a little louder too.
Yeah, and the Elysis one's kind of
because it has a shell.
It's kind of the same.
Yeah, the Yamaha doesn't really have a shell. It's like a
looks like a megaphone.
Yeah, it looks like a piston or like a. But it works. It works great. Nothing on this thing really has triggering issues.
No.
Now that being said, we'll kind of circle back to the cymbals.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to point out quick before we did that, just because we literally just tested this, is with the new mesh pads being on this and everything, and I guess this might have been the same with the 8 mesh, but used to Yamaha modules didn't really work with other brands' drums very well, but now with the mesh settings, since that's kind of wired and set up the way as most modern other brands' drums, it's a more friendly module for at least the snare and toms of other brands.
Yeah, we'd have to test out kicks. But I think, doesn't Yamaha have a kick drum that's got a mesh head on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. On
they have a mesh version of their kick drums on their higher
like the tins or whatever they're called.
Absolutely. So we actually tested out a Hawk snare that we'd recently finished up, which has four cones, 4 piezo's. The Yamaha has 3, but without any settings changes whatsoever, it seemed to work just fine. That means it'll probably work with anything with an outside cone triggering system, which is most things now. Yeah. Most brands are doing that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. If you want to, there is an extra input on that module, so you could theoretically move the snare that comes with that kit over to be used as an extra floor tom or something, and then put a bigger snare from another company. Or if Yamaha comes out with a bigger mesh snare, they would work with that as well, obviously. So.
And I guess one other thing before we get to the cymbals is, just because I don't think we've mentioned it, is the sounds on the kit are really good.
Yeah.
That was one of the big pros when this module, especially when it first came out, with the original DTX6 lineup. It was like, for the price range, some of the best sounds you could get. There's some other brands that are improving their sounds and stuff, but this one still, like, all the snare drums, I really like all the snare drums that I was playing. I was like, man, these just sound good.
The first kit's a recording custom, which is a good sounding kit. I was pretty impressed. I haven't gone through and like played a long period of every preset. That's one thing they did is on this newer firmware, there's now 70 presets where there used to be 40.
Yeah.
And so we did a preset video for this module years ago when it first came out. And I'll link that in the video description. So if you guys want to go back and check that out, we're going to probably put another one out where we'll put the new kits, or maybe like what the kits that have been added on another video. And at the end of this video, we're actually going to have some playing, just so you can hear what the kit sounds like. So I talked to Yamaha earlier, just to kind of pick their brain on like what was new on the kit. And one of the things that they said, and I could definitely tell, was there was an improvement to dynamics. So very, very light hits up to very hard hits, and all in between seems to be improved. They added more cymbal variety. So they used to have more just kind of like, I guess, middle of the road sounding, and now they have darker cymbals and they have lighter sounding crashes and stuff like that they've added. And one of the coolest things about Yamaha is their app. You don't hook it up like Bluetooth, you hook it up via a cable. I was playing around with the app quite a bit, and it's cool. It's got like a picture of the Yamaha recording custom kit and like all the stuff you can do on the module if you wanted to, but it just seems way easier on the app. Like you have an edit kit button.
Nice.
You can edit your trigger settings. You can set all your levels. It's a lot like the F-Note Tools app. Obviously, this is what was out before. And I wish like all of our brands would do this kind of thing. I literally wish this was easier to hook up and you'd have to have a cable, but it's not that hard.
Right.
As far as like the cymbals go, these are the same cymbals that came out in like 08, 09. I mean, I was like a young man when they came out.
I was still in high school.
Yeah, so like the design itself is quite old compared to some of the newer stuff that does 360 triggering and like just has a little bit firmer of a feel. I don't think these are as nice.
Right.
Strike zone is like on one side, but it's almost like a quarter of that even. So you really have to be pretty accurate when you're playing on your cymbals, or else you get a bit of a drop off in signal. They do have anti-rotation stoppers, like rolling stuff, so it's not really a problem.
Right.
But when you have other brands that are 360 triggering and choking and stuff, and we obviously have a showroom full of those, these definitely are showing their age.
Yeah, I think bundled with the whole kit is where the age kind of feels the most apparent, because you've got their new mesh pads that feel new. You've got this module that's been out a few years but still feels new, and then the cymbals it just feels almost out of place.
But the upside to those cymbals is they are quiet.
Yeah, they are.
The reason why, like, they kind of feel almost like spongy.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of extra rubber there on the edge, and that's for dampening. I get why they did that.
I actually do really like the way they feel. I actually don't hate that. Like,
yeah.
Especially like just playing like when I was on the ride earlier, just doing like a ding like that kind of like thing. It felt really nice.
It definitely feels like they've improved the triggering on the cymbals.
That's the thing they do for being as old as they are. Like they're
getting the most out of them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's not like these specific ones were made in 2008. They're still made probably this year, maybe late last year, in the factory. So they're still a new product in that sense, and they work great. Like there's no lack of function. It's just more, you can tell it's an older design, kind of thing.
But I think after a couple of days, you probably won't even think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
It is what it is. So overall, I really like this kit in this price range. Is it the best kit that Yamaha makes or the best kit we sell? No, but like in this $1,699, around $1,500 price range, especially since like other people have all raised prices recently, it's very competitive, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad they came out with this. I remember when we first heard about it, it was something I was glad they came out with, though, just because, there's a lot of people who are diehard, love the TCS pads, which they do feel great. But I would say the general market probably just wants the mesh pads. And so I'm glad they came out with a solid mesh kit in an affordable price range.
Yeah. They didn't have a 6 series with mesh pads, right? So it was just, you had to get the 8 series, which was $2,899 or something. Yeah. So it's a significantly lower price point to get into a mesh kit from Yamaha. All for it.
Yeah.
So we have these kits in stock right now.
Yeah.
They actually just came in. That's why we were able to do the unboxing video finally. It took them a little bit to actually get them in the country. So we have them now. They're ready to go. I hope supply is going forward, because we have had a lot of interest in this kit. So if you have any questions, let us know. We'll go ahead and make a package for these as well. So if you need everything to go with them, there'll be an option to buy that, with a kick pedal, drum throne, that kind of stuff. And subscribe for more like this, and we'll come out with a new video very shortly. Thanks for watching.
Bye.